Welcome to Courtside Moms. I'm your host, Wendy Sparks. Today, I welcome back Sara Parker for an update to talk about Candace's championship back in her hometown with the Chicago Sky. So let's get right into it and bring Sara on the show. Welcome, Sara, back to Courtside Moms. I am so happy, delighted to have you back to give us some updates since the last time you were here. And you know what? We got so much to talk about, so let's get to it.
Sounds good.
We touched on this last time you joined us. So for our new listeners, why did Candace go back to Chicago from your eyes?
I just think that she felt it was a good opportunity. You know, it was the first time she had a chance to make that choice, because every other time, you know, she was court, so she couldn't. And, you know, she knows she's nearing the end of her career and family is important. Her dad and I could see her grandmother, her college coach, her friends, you know, the family that's in this area, as well as all of her high school followers and fans. And so it was just seemed like a good fit. And she was excited about it. I didn't really ask her, you know, what tipped the choice to here and why. You know, I was just so happy that she did. I was like, I'm not gonna touch that.
I don't blame you. You mean your baby's coming home, why ask, right? For mom, that's just the right decision, right?
Oh, absolutely. And you know, you have a son, but when you have your daughter, so you know, when your mom suggests something or tells you to do something, it's not likely what you want to do. You're going like, no, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to do it. You know, so I wasn't going to dare say, you need to come to Chicago. You make the right decision that's best for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was obviously a good choice for her. But, you know, as a player, she became an unrestricted free agent. And finally, she's at that point where she can actually make a decision as to where she would want to go. So I just love the fact that she chose to go back home. And like you said, now she's in front of friends, she's in front of family, she's in front of everybody that's so tight and important to her. I mean, why not, right?
Right.
What was it like for you, though, Mom, to see Candace in a Sky jersey?
You know, it came full circle. I worked for the Sky when they first started. I think I told you. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, everyone kept asking me, well, if we'd have gotten the number one pick, she would have come here. I said, but I'm not sure it would have been the right time. I think this is the right time. They were a new team. They were hiring new coaches. They were trying to figure things out. And I think it would have, you know, been a little harder at that stage, although, you know, who knows? But I was just really, really happy, you know, to have her back at home. And I stayed in California with Layla until the middle of June, until she got out of school. And so then Layla and I came back and we were really excited.
Oh, that's beautiful. You know, again, it must have been a joy for you to finally have Candace around you. I guess you see her more often now.
Hey, every game.
Layla, there you go. There you go.
And
not everybody gets those blessings to see their kids, you know what I mean, all the time, especially when they have jobs like our kids where they're traveling the world, and they're all over the place. I mean, when she went overseas, did you get to see her at all? Did you get the opportunity to travel when she went to Russia? I think she went to China and Turkey as well.
Well, I went with her to Russia. I was in Russia with her for 6 years.
Oh. And
so initially we would go in January and come home in May. But after the second year, we went in October 1st and came home in May. Now, we would get to come home for Christmas. But other than that, we were there. And when Layla was a baby, you know, Candace, I kept telling her, you got to give her a bottle too. You just can't nurse or she's not going to take a bottle. Well, we got overseas and she wouldn't take a bottle. So Layla and I traveled to every single game with her for that first year.
Wow. I love the fact that Layla's so young and she's so world traveled.
She really is. And I think I mentioned before, she adjusts to change. She adapts to change. You know, she's places. It's unbelievable. I brought her back home here with me and I took her to church and I signed her up for the preschool. She was 4 and she didn't know anybody in there. And the teacher said, is she going to be okay? I said, well, you all speak English. Most of the places we go, she doesn't even know what they're saying. And she does just fine. So I think and I came back and she had made friends and she was happy and she's just comfortable in her skin.
Yeah. You know what? Kids are more resilient than we give them credit for, right? Here you
Oh,
have
yeah.
this little girl who she's lived the basketball life from birth.
Yeah.
So
She
for
really
her,
has. She's very well traveled. She's had 2 passports filled up and had to get new ones. And, you know, I was with her in Turkey and in China. We went there on our trips. We went to Italy and we went to Spain. We went to Hungary. We went to many, many countries, and I'm a picture taker, so it's well documented. So I'm in the process of trying to put all that together.
good for you. I would love to see that outcome of all that. You never
Well, that's
know.
why I'm sitting here in my craft room.
Well, good luck to whatever project that you put together. I can't wait to see it.
Well, thank you.
So, going back to Candace and her return to Chicago, it was a highly anticipated return. And with Candace coming back from injury, what was that delay like?
It was unbelievable. They went to Washington and played their first game, and they all played well, and they had a good time. And then they went to Atlanta, and in pregame warmups, she was going through moves and drills and stuff, and rolled that ankle ridiculous. And I'm wondering why she's not playing. And then she texted me, I rolled my ankle, Mom, and I really rolled it. I said, oh no. And that was hard. That was really hard. She worked really, really hard, and she's now 35. She's not 20. So
Yeah.
she understands. I don't mean that she heals any different. She understands now, okay, I need to take the time or I'm going to be
Yeah.
doing this all year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Over and over again.
she was able to go back to LA to the people that know her body and that she trusts, and get work done and work on it as far as rehab and some of the physical therapy. And she had an acupuncturist here, rehab here, that were really good too. But there are a couple of people that really know her body, and it worked out really well for her. She
You
was
know,
so hard though.
yeah. I don't think a lot of people understand what it's like for an athlete when it comes to their body. Their body really is their temple. And my son, too, with him, he's very particular which doctors that he interacts with, because you know what I mean? Like when you're a player, you're going from state to state, from city to city, you change countries.
Yeah,
And should something happen, you really want to stick with that doctor who has been with you from the beginning. So
absolutely.
I can appreciate what you're saying with Candace, where she's like, listen, I want to stick with the people who know me because they're the ones who can help me heal and they understand what I'm going through more
And they know
than.
how her body responds.
That's right.
Candace isn't really a sweller. She doesn't really swell. And so the average person say, well, you're not swollen, you're good. Well, when she was in 5th grade, she stepped in a hole and broke her ankle playing soccer and played 4 games with it broken, and she didn't swell.
Yeah.
But she was in a
Yeah.
cast for 8 weeks. So
Yeah.
the doctors there kind of understand. This one did swell though. It was black and blue and orange, and it was, ooh. And then she did it again, a couple, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 games later, but she was only out, I think, 2 games that time. She took her time and
That's
and
right.
let it heal, and then
Yeah.
she was good.
Yeah. It takes a
Mhm.
while to come back from injuries at times. So it's just best that the players, to be let nature take its course and get healed as quickly as possible, because at the end of the day, this is your livelihood, and at the same time, you're going to need your ankle or your knees or whatever you injure after basketball.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely. She's had 7 knee surgeries. She's had shoulder surgery. She's had, you know, sprained ankles, and so all of that, she understands what her veterans were telling her when she was a rookie
yeah.
now, and she tries to impart that onto the current, young players, and they're looking at her like she looked at them, and
Yeah.
she's like, no, no, really, seriously, I'm trying to tell you.
She's like, listen to me. This is experience here talking. So, were you able to get to Candace's Chicago Sky debut? And if so, tell me what that was like for you.
Well, we were able to get here late. I came in and she wasn't playing because her first home game, she was hurt, and so when she actually did play her first game, we weren't here. We were in LA, but what we did, actually, even for her first game period against the Mystics when they played, I got up early because it's real early out there. The 1 o'clock game is like 10 o'clock in the morning. So right. I got up and made a big brunch. And so the people that are closest to her came over and we all sat down and watched and cheered and took pictures and sent to her. And, it was really special. And when we finally got back here and were able to get to the games, it was really special. Early on, it was still the social distancing. They didn't have the fans in, but not too long after that, then the stadium was full.
Yeah, it's true. The games are starting to get back to normal now, where you can actually sit there and actually really experience now the games that you're so used to and that we've missed for over a year and a half.
For sure.
Thank gosh it's starting to get back to where it used to be.
The Sky did an amazing job, though, in trying to keep everyone safe. You could not come in without a COVID vaccination card. Yeah. So it's your choice. If you don't want to be vaccinated, that's fine, but you cannot come to the games.
Yeah.
And you had to show your vaccination card every single time.
Yeah.
And, and so and everyone had to be with a mask. And the ushers would come down and tap you if you took your mask down. If you were eating popcorn, some people would like to eat it one kernel at a time, but they're like, no, you put your mask up, And so they did their best to try to, and they cleared the stadium afterwards. Candace texted me, she said, Mom, where are you? Where are you and Layla? I said, we're on our way to the car. And she said, well, what are you doing? I said, it's not like it used to be. They cleared the stadium. We have to go. That was our first game back. Mm-hmm. I said, we have to leave. And she said, no, I'll send someone to get you. You can't leave. I said, okay. Because it's just different. They clear the stadium immediately.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. My son plays for the Toronto Raptors. And in Canada, it's the same thing. You show that vaccination at the door. You show your proof as soon as you get there. And like you said, you have to have your masks on. And they really, you know what I mean? And they're watching, as they should, right? They're walking up and down, like you said, the rows, and they're making sure. And as soon as they see someone without a mask on, let me tell you, you better have a hot dog in your hand. Or they're coming after you.
You better be you should be chewing.
Yeah. And his first game, I had to laugh because it was the Raptors' regular, their opening game for regular season. And it was the first time, I believe, in like 19 months. And it was just awesome being there. And you know what I mean? The fans were cheering and we were so happy. At the end of the game, we're sitting in there and they're like, excuse me, you have to go. And we're not used to that. We're used to being able to wait or go to the family
You're like,
room.
This is my out.
Yeah, we were kicked out. They were like, yeah, we don't care whose mom or sister, brother, daughter, or son you are. You have to wait for him outside. And they really put us outside. Like we were standing outside looking at the door like, really? And we were kicked out. It was funny, but
you appreciate it, I guess.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We were fine.
As long as they were respectful in the way in which they, you'd have someone that was, just, I don't think they really wanted to be there. And they're like, you have to go, you have to leave. And I say, I don't mind, but could you at least speak to me in a nice tone?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'll give them that. They were very kind and they were explaining and we understood why. We just didn't think, about it at the second that we got kicked out. We're like, really? And he says, well, because COVID protocols, we have to clear the arena immediately after the game, which made perfect sense to us. We just didn't plan for it. So instead of waiting 45 minutes inside, we had to wait 45 minutes outside. So from that game on,
45 minutes. Your son is quick. We're 2 hours with Candace.
Oh
We're 2 hours.
I will never complain. Again.
Hours. We went across the street, had a meal, had a drink, had dessert, and then she's coming.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. 45 minutes to an hour. Because sometimes I'm like, what are you doing? I'm taking an ice bath. Ice bath. Like,
oh yeah.
On.
Yeah. Oh no. That and be glad that he does, because some don't and they should. It really helps their body. Candace gets in the ice bath with my hip when I was there last summer, and it was, she said, just get in the pool. The pool water was really cold. She said, just get in the pool. It'd be good for your hip. I said, I can't. I don't know how you guys get in those ice baths, but I can't do it. My toes are turning purple. I can't do it.
Yeah, I cringe. I'm like, listen, I don't want to be a part of this. Just call me when you're done. So, so
No.
Candace is known for being a great leader. How did she impact the Sky from the jump?
I think that they asked me, they said, well, you know, she's here and she's just such a great leader. I said, well, in that situation, you have to have people that want to be led, that are open and that trust you. And consequently, she wasn't the only one doing the leading. There were others that were helping her, and she trusted them. And so it was a great relationship. When you look at them, you know, when they were speaking with each other, they're making eye contact and they're nodding their heads and they're locked in.
Yeah.
And they really trusted one another. And she really loved the team. She said, you know, Mom, I think we're going to be pretty good. And I think we can win some games. She said, but you know what, if we don't, I love this team.
Yeah. You know, sometimes you just have to find as a player that comfort zone and work with it. And once a team gels together, once the players gel together, there's so much that can happen. Sometimes it just takes a little bit more time. I mean, they had a tough start to the season and were one of the lowest seeding heading into the playoffs. Many people counted them out. But what were your thoughts heading into the playoffs?
They were the 6th ranked team because they lost 7 in a row, then they won 7 in a row. They had injuries. It wasn't just Candace that was out. Stephanie Dawson was the 3-on-3 for the Olympics. Stu was overplaying for her team. You know, Allie Quigley had a hamstring that was bothering her. You know, there were a number of injuries early on and didn't get their full team back till probably after the Olympic break.
Yeah.
So I felt like they had all the pieces. They were pretty good in any situation. I don't care how good you are. It takes a little luck. You know, everybody has to stay healthy. You know, that shot has to fall now and then. You have to grab that rebound here and there. But they believed and they worked hard and they fought every game, even the ones they lost. They fought till the last tick on the clock.
Amen.
And
so at what point during the season did you think that this team could possibly win it all?
I always think that. So you can't use me. My thing is, if you're going to start a season and think you don't have a chance to win, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So, I always felt like they had the opportunity. And I think in the WNBA, with the way the teams are now, they're pretty much most teams have a shot. Yeah. You know, it's just a matter of, you know, how they play and getting along. And, you know, they certainly had a tough route. You know, they had to go play they played Dallas at home, and then they had to go to Minnesota and play. Mm-hmm. And from Minnesota, they went directly to Connecticut.
Yes.
And they had to play, in Connecticut and play, you know, there, and then come back here and play, you know. And then they had to go to Phoenix, you know, and play, you know, they had to play there. And I was just really happy. You know, they bought in, they worked hard, they kept fighting, and they have some good pieces. I mean, Courtney Vandersloot is an amazing point guard.
Yeah.
You know, Allie Quigley, as Candace calls her, she's the shooter. You know, they call the WNBA, Candace calls the WNBA 3-point contest during All-Star the Allie Quigley Invitational.
That's awesome.
She's won it 3 years straight.
Yeah.
And she said, I'm not doing it next year. And she said, Candace is like, you have to. She says, no, I don't.
She's already proven herself, right?
But knowing Allie, she probably will. But I'm just saying, you know, they had fun. You know, Kalia Copper is the young player that, you know, Candace really had a great relationship with. And, you know, Kalia pushed Candace and Candace pushed her. And, you know, it was great.
Yeah. So WNBA Finals, huge narrative with Diana against Candace. And you guys win the series 3-1. the clinching game is in Chicago. So walk us through that day and night. I believe Anthony was also in attendance.
He was. I had seen Anthony because he was here for the NBA Combine, but I had not seen his wife or the boys. It would have been 2 years in December because of COVID. Right. And so he called and he said, Mom, I got your hotel room downtown with us. We're flying in tonight and we're going to go to the game, but we got to fly out right after the game tomorrow. And that's awesome. And her other brother and his wife wanted to come, but they're doctors. And you don't just last minute say, hey, we're going to Chicago for the game. You have to, it takes a little more plotting and planning. So they weren't able to make it. But Anthony and was here, and it was very, very exciting. That final game didn't start off the greatest. We had some struggles, but they never gave up. They hung in there. They kept fighting. They stayed close enough. They kept working, and it was really amazing, to see them win and to see the joy and the happiness in their faces. It's for something that they had worked for so long.
Were there any differences to you seeing her win the title in 2016 versus 2021?
You're at home.
Yeah.
They won the other one in Minnesota.
Yeah.
So the celebration was a little different.
Yeah.
They still had one. It was still a great celebration, but it's a little different when you're doing it in front of your fans. The arena the last 3 games were completely sold out. My friends were like, oh, you can get a ticket. Okay, we'll go see. And so one of my friends called and said, I tried to get a ticket. It was $1,900. I said, I told you, you cannot find a ticket. And it was so awesome to see Chicago support. Scottie Pippen came, Chance the Rapper was there, Justin Fields was there, a bunch of people, a bunch of DeMar DeRozan, a lot of the Bulls, all came and supported. And it was awesome to see that. And, being at home is different, Your crowd can pick you up and they can lift you. And, it was really funny because, it was still close at the end. And we were shooting a free throw and Candace kind of began to cry. And Allie said, it's not over yet. It's not over yet. And she said, yes, it is. They don't have any timeouts left. And they have to go the full length of the court in 2 seconds. It's over.
Yep.
I said, that's Candace constantly thinking. She's like, they have no timeouts. They can't call timeouts and advance the ball. And so, yeah. And, Diana and Skylar Diggins both came over and, hugged the players and, said, how happy they were for the team and also for Candace, they were happy. And so that was really nice to see them, do that because they're 2 fierce competitors.
Yeah, as we're watching this, on TV, and we see, like you're saying, the players that come up to them, show respect, and it was a great game, and they're all hugging each other. For me, the most memorable hug is when she ran to you, and then after Layla. So, what was that like for you? I mean, you're sitting there.
I didn't see her coming. I was so excited, and I had turned, and I don't even remember who I was getting ready to hug, but I had turned. And she hit me, and I was like, I thought I was going. I said, it's a good thing I had a good footing, or I'd been on the floor. I was so happy for her, and she was just sobbing. And when she went back out, I said, Lay, your mom wants you, and that was what really was just so special to me. It was, she's like, Mom, you did it, and and Candace was like, we did it, Lay, and she's, look at Chicago, everybody showed up. Look at this, and. Layla was just overwhelmed. She was so happy.
Aw.
She didn't take that mask off, though.
I don't blame Layla. So it's so beautiful for us, the public, to witness their relationship, Candace and Layla. How, in your eyes, did Candace have the strength to evolve into a mom and raise a child and maintain such a wonderful career at the same time?
Well, she has a great support system. Not just myself, she has friends and family that step up, when I'm not out there, and she has people that can help her or that will, and that that makes a big difference. It really does. I felt like when Layla was young, I tried to always be there, because then you have peace of mind and you can do what you have to do, because I'm going to take care of it.
Yeah.
And not that you don't know somebody else, but how I'm going to take care of her.
That's
and
right.
Sometimes I'm a little too strict, but that's better than being too loose. So, but she and she brings Layla along. She wants her to see the path. And Layla started basketball tryouts Monday, and so it was so funny. Candace posted on Instagram yesterday. Candace was in her office working, and Layla was out in front of the office dribbling. She said, "Whoa, what is this?" She got the ball and she's dribbling on her own, And so
she's getting ready.
It was really cute. It was really cute to see. I asked her, I said, "Lay, do you want to play basketball?" She said, "Honey, I do, but I don't know if I want to be a pro." I said, "How about you make the high school team?" How did you get to pro? And I think some of when you're young like that, the things that you may not be comfortable with way bigger than when you get older and you understand the process.
Right.
She sees how hard her mom works. She sees her mom when she comes down for breakfast. Her mom has already been out in the weight room working out for an hour, and then she gets in the car and takes her to school. And she sees the work that Candace does, and to an 11, 12-year-old, it's like, whoa, I don't know if I can do all that.
But you know what? I love that, because she's so involved, because this has been something that she's witnessed and seen from birth. Because,
Absolutely.
you know what I mean? She was born into the basketball world. So she understands a lot about basketball, and she understands a lot about success and what needs to be done to be successful. So I guess in my brain, I'm thinking she has that option to make that decision better than a lot of other kids, because she's like, well, I see this every single day. So it's either I want in or I want out. But at least she understands a little bit more than others as to what it really takes to become
She's just comfortable. She's very comfortable. She's very tall. Layla's 6'1" and she's 12.
6'1", wow.
And she's very comfortable being tall. She's very comfortable having bigger feet. One of her teachers at the other school, her old school, told her, said, "You have big feet." She said, "I got to stand up." In other words, I'm not little like you. I can't have little feet. I'll tip over, And she's very, very comfortable being tall. And when Candace and I, before COVID, she played a little bit. She was 10 then, 11, and she played a little bit. And every now and then, Candace and I go, "Where'd that come from?" She'd come down and do something. It's like, where'd she get that? And so she is watching, and she, when she didn't have the skill really to play it too much, she could block shots. So she loved doing that. So, it'll be interesting to see how she grows and what she does. And she has a rim in her backyard, so she can go shoot if she wants to. And, I just don't want anybody to put pressure on her, I sometimes you can measure up, and sometimes you're never going to measure up to what people expect.
That's
and
right.
So you have to be comfortable, with yourself. That's the thing we tried to tell Candace at a young age when she was getting all the attention. These are people's opinions of them, and they're good. So you want to listen. Now, what happens when the bad ones come? Do you want to listen to those? So don't listen to any of them.
Yeah.
Don't pay attention to any of it. You be the barometer of which your success is measured.
I love that advice, and it's so true.
Yeah.
So true. You have to weigh what you're going to listen to.
You get all these rankings. Oh, you're the number one ranked player in this class. Well, 4 years from now, you don't even play.
Yeah.
It just depends on, the work and what you do. And I don't know.
That is very, very true. So you have experienced the basketball industry on many different levels as your kids play different roles, such as their players, GMs, broadcaster, podcaster, influencer, and more. I mean, most only get to experience this journey from the player perspective. So to date, what have you learned and enjoyed the most about being a basketball mom with all of this knowledge that you have around you?
I think it's nice and it's fun to watch your children grow.
Yeah.
From where they were. I love my conversations with Anthony relative to basketball because they're so much different than my conversations with Candace or Marcus or anyone else, because he's an assistant GM for the Magic now. And so his perspective and what he's looking for and how he measured, I told him, I said, when did you get to be such a tough critic? And, I said, my goodness, because I'll tell him, he'll say, Mom, what do you think about this player? And I'll tell him, he goes, yeah, but and I'm like, no, I disagree, and, we'll laugh. But it's so much fun to watch them grow and to see them, step out and become who they are. And true to form, Anthony and Candace have always been the two that have absolutely loved basketball.
Right.
Absolutely. Marcus did, but not like that, Now he really is doing well. He has a girls basketball program in Tampa, and his oldest daughter is playing and his middle daughter. And he's been coaching for, I don't know, maybe 5 years he's had the program. And he's had some really good players do really good things. And one thing that makes my heart full is all the parents always say how patient he is and how much their kids have learned from him. Yeah. He's not the coach on the sidelines yelling and screaming. He's the one that will take you out and talk to you. He doesn't pay attention to the refs. The refs make terrible calls. You got the coaches screaming at him and stuff. And he's like, I can't change it. So I'm just going to figure out how to avoid it,
Yeah.
And so I'm really proud of how he has, brought basketball into his world while still being a radiologist by night.
And then Anthony as a GM.
Assistant.
Yes.
He was a GM for Lakeland, but he's the assistant for the Magic. So I'm really proud of him. That's a real nice promotion for him.
Yeah. So I actually seen him in the summertime at the Summer League.
Mm-hmm.
It was funny. I was sitting in a restaurant and with a bunch of moms, and one of them says, "There's Anthony Parker." Where? And then I see the Lakeland Magic team coming in, and they sat right next to us. And it was so funny. I was like, "Wow, there's Anthony Parker." And then
did you go say hi?
No, I didn't. I was too shy. And it was funny. I know. But
he would have just shook your hand or given you a hug and said, "It's nice to meet you," especially since the relationship he'd had with your son.
I know. I didn't want to go bother him. And it was funny. 2 weeks before that, I went to the Basketball Hall of Fame, and I took a picture of myself in a life-size Candace Parker. So I was telling my son, he says, "See, you met the Parkers." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good." So
I always try to tell Anthony and Candace that they should coach. I said, this administration stuff is great, but I said, you guys, and I said, you should coach kids that have a chance to really experience and enjoy and learn from, kids get to, unfortunately, college and even the pros, and they don't think they have anything to learn. Yeah. And you've only scratched the surface. And if you have a really good coach, and the successful coaches, they continue to teach their players,
Absolutely.
And so I always tell Ken, she said, I don't have patience.
You know what? She's right, because it takes a special type of coach to really show what it is to be a pro or to help or to, you know what I mean? Because like you said, a lot of these kids, they figure from high school, yeah, I'm going to be in the NBA. Yeah, I know all. And then when they get to college, it's a shock. Or when they don't get to college, they're the only they're the only ones in the gym shocked that they're not making a college roster.
Anthony wouldn't tell them. He would be kind. And he would be nice. Candace would just say, "You're not good. If you want to be good, you have to go out and do this and this and this. You're just not good right now. Your parents think you're good, but you're not, And she would tell them, Yeah. She got it honest, but
yeah, sometimes you got to keep it raw.
No, you have to, because if you're not honest with them,
Yeah.
you're cheating them.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
you're
you're cheating.
Go ahead.
You're cheating them. They have to learn to work hard, and they have to. I think one thing Candace always says over and over and over again to young people is when she got to Tennessee, one of the things that Pat has always said, I will not start your engine.
Yeah.
I will not start your engine. So if you can't get yourself going, you're in trouble here.
That's it. I love that. And it's so true. You have got to want to do it yourself. You're the player.
I do not coach effort.
Yep. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So let's talk about Candace's podcast called Moments, a podcast that celebrates parenthood. So how's it for you to listen to the very person you raised about parenting? Like, how does that come full circle for you?
Sometimes it's really funny. I'm like, really? But it gives me insight into her, the way she's thinking, because when I'm with her and Layla, we don't agree on everything. I'm like, no, or yes, you need, she's like, no, mom, and I have to remember it's her child. And it's hard because sometimes when I've been entrusted with being her caregiver, it's instinct. Well, can I do? No, not right now. And Candace is looking at me like, you do see me sitting here, And so I have to try to remember, when I'm caregiver here and I'm grandma here. And, you got to make sure. And because she's a great mom, she doesn't need me to make her decisions. And it's so cool to hear her conversation with Tia Mowry and with Michael Strahan and Adrian and Chris Bosch and all the different, parents that she's spoken with, to hear their perspective and how they do things.
Yeah.
And what they see and what they, what is so special to them. And she talked to dads, not just moms.
Yeah. Oh, and it's awesome to hear her perspective, you know what I mean? Because she's raising her daughter, you know what I mean, through the eyes of, well, her own eyes, right? And plus she's looking at it like, okay, I was raised like this. Let me take this and put it, you know what I mean, and mold it to my child. And of course, she's going to put her own, parenting skills on it too. But when you look
Absolutely.
at it, it's really how you raised her. And it's funny you're saying that, where sometimes as grandmas, you got to take it back a bit. But I laugh when I'm with my son and the kids, you know what I mean? And my granddaughter, the youngest, she's 2.5 or almost 3, and she'll ask for a cookie. And when she asks for it, she's staring at me, but everybody's in the room staring at me now.
Yep. Sometimes I don't care.
Yeah.
Sometimes Candace is like, Mom, really? Really? Yeah, really. I'm grandma today. I have to be caregiver and say no and be strict on everything else. Yeah, you can. You want to, yeah, but Layla's not into sweets that much. Hers is a little extra time on the phone or the iPad, or, stay up a little bit later, that kind of stuff. But sometimes grandma, you get to do things at grandma's you don't get to do at home.
Yeah, you know what? You just have to pull rank. Say, yes, you're her mom, but I'm your mom. So I'm telling you to tell her no.
and then I have to be ready to pack my bags and go home.
Yep.
Like, you've been here long enough.
Yeah. They quietly say, so are you leaving tomorrow? So my last question to you, which I've asked you before, but now we have a whole other season behind you. But what is it like being the courtside mom to Candace Parker?
My chest is bursting with pride because she's a better person than she is a ball player. And she's a pretty good ball player. But she has a kind, loving heart. And I like that now she has grown into being comfortable. She's not trying to please you or me or everybody else. She's doing what she believes is right and trying to please herself.
Yeah.
And I think that's maturity. So it's really fun to watch. She was on Ellen last week and I was like, oh my gosh, could you have told me? She said, well, I told you I was doing it. I just wasn't sure when it was going to be on. I said, well, I saw it luckily, but she just doesn't, call and tell you, oh, I'm doing this or I'm doing that. You don't know. but I'm really happy to see her have the opportunities that she's having. She took Layla this weekend and she went to Tennessee. She was the grand marshal for their homecoming parade, and Layla got to walk out on she did the Vol walk with the team, and then she got to walk out on the football field with the 100,000 people that are there, and she could just see her smile, and she just thought it was so special. And those are experiences and memories that you just don't forget.
Yeah, absolutely. And
she met Peyton Manning, and Monica Abbott, and those are great Tennessee athletes. And Candace always takes her over to the Pat Summit Memorial so she can, see it and remind her of the pyramid and all of the things that Pat has always said. Candace and JBL, they refurbished the court there for a bunch of players, and they went over there, and the thing on there, it says left foot, right foot, breathe. That was Pat saying it. When you think things are that bad, they're not. Put one foot in front of the other and breathe.
That's it. I love that Layla gets to experience all these wonderful things. You know what I mean? And good for her, and that Candace is taking her along that journey with her. I actually saw the episode on Ellen, and I laughed when Ellen said, "I actually invited you years ago." Candace said, "Yeah, my mom said no." And she's like, "It's Ellen DeGeneres, Mom." You're like, "I don't care. Stay at school."
You gotta go to class. And she's, the Ellen wanted her to come out, and they're, like I told you, after, I think in our last episode after the dunk, that the front yard was filled with reporters, and she wasn't answering the door, and they wanted her to do this and do that and go here and go there, and no, gonna go to class. And so yeah.
You know what? I love how you as mom, you kept her grounded, because it's so easy for our kids to get sucked into this media. Yes, it's Ellen DeGeneres. Yes, it's a beautiful interview. However, they ain't coming to write your exams for you or coming to class for you or doing these things for you. You have to still go to school, and you have to realize that that's more important. I mean, look, 15 years later, she still went on the show anyway, and she's as fantastic or even more fantastic she was 15 years ago. So I love the fact that for you, you were like, no, go to class.
Well, because I'll tell you what, you flunk out of school and they'll be talking about you on those shows about how you didn't take care of business and do the things you were supposed to do. And
it's so true. So, would you want to go on Ellen then?
They're not gonna call, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And but she got to do it. She got to do quite a few things, and so she was 15, I think, when she went to France and played in an international tournament. She got to do some pretty neat things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I love Candace's journey thus far. She's very interesting to watch, and you know what I mean? I love listening to her. Everything she's doing is so positive, and she's just that player, that persona that little girls should mimic and follow, because her life is just all about success, and it's about love, and it's about passion. So to me, kudos to you, Mom. Congratulations on your wonderful, wonderful daughter. And I love the fact that you came today and gave us this update. On
thank you
Candace.
For having me.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having me. Candace definitely wants to impact little girls and little boys. She wants everybody, it's not gender specific. Everybody can use the tools to be successful.
Yes.
Now it's harder for us. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
We have to show up on two levels, but I'm really proud of her. It was a fantastic year. I know that she's got more days behind her than ahead, and so it's, she's enjoying her journey for right now. She loves what she's doing on TV as an analyst. She's having a great time with that. So
yeah, It's fun to watch. It really is. I love watching her. She's holding her own and she's doing her thing. And for me, it's just her knowledge of the sport. I appreciate that. You know what I mean? Just listening to her and what she's talking about. And people are like, oh, she was never in the NBA. What does she know about the NBA? And I'm like, she knows a lot. She's a basketball player. She gets it. She understands. So when you look at our kids that are doing such positive things, and then you have other people that just want to comment, you know what I mean? Sometimes you, like you said, ignore the noise. And because at the end of the day, she's Candace Parker, so they can say what they want.
Oh, that's sweet of you. It's funny. I think the number one thing that happens is all boys, men, young men, old men, I want to play you one-on-one. You know, I want to play you one-on-one. I bet I can beat you. I had a little cousin, and that was his thing. He said, "Do you think?" I said, "Why would she play you? You're in high school. What does she have to gain by?" I said, "You got to earn the right to play somebody." I said, "Plus, she's 35 years old. You're 15. You want to brag on beating somebody that could be your mom?"
Yeah.
You know, come on. Come on. And so that's the one thing that always comes up. And every time you've seen it, whether it's with Candace or Diana or Brittany or whoever they're challenging, Skylar, they get beat.
Yeah.
They get beat every time, And I think Anthony said it best when he was playing in the league and Candace was younger. They said, well, can you beat her? He said, I'm going to tell you something. You guys keep walking around here. He said, I'll come and watch her because she's going to beat you. None of you guys here are going to beat her. Yeah. I'm a pro. I play in the league. I'm not the best one in the league, but I did make it. And I have to work hard to beat her. You're not going to just
That's okay.
You're not just going to step up there and beat her. It's not going to happen. Yeah. And so it's just funny to me, but I think we're getting to the point now where you see little boys and they love, watching her, and they come to the games and they have her jersey on and, they want her autograph. That's the generation that's growing up not thinking like that.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what, Candace, the WNBA players should say they have so much to prove. They have, in my opinion, I find they have so much more to prove than an NBA player. So for me, just the fact that she did what she had to do. She plays amazing. Her career is exactly what she wants it to be, in my opinion. So for me, Candace just have to be Candace. She don't got to do nothing to anybody or for anybody but Candace. So I just love. Yeah, I love. No worries. I love who she stands for as a woman, as a mom. You know what I mean? As an influencer and as an athlete. So for me, once again, congratulations. Your daughter is fantastic. She's amazing.
Well, thank you so much. And I hope that we both get to meet you one day.
Thank you for tuning in, guys. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Courtside Moms, and make sure you subscribe to the podcast.
Done, baby. I do it naturally. Whoa, whoa, whoa.